What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and it's Top 10 Thursday. Over the course of my life, I've played thousands of different games, but lately I've grown a soft spot for things like this, projects made purely out of passion. This is a Mario game not made by Nintendo, but by a clever programmer who wanted to make his own piece of their world. This week, we're digging into the most impressive example of these on my list of the top 10 crazy fan-made games. Number 10. GoldenEye Source. Anyone who grew up enjoying a lot of first-person shooters owes a giant thank you to GoldenEye. Ever since it launched back on the Nintendo 64, it totally changed how the world saw the genre. For this remake, a team of dedicated coders went through and carefully rebuilt every item and level piece by piece in the Source engine. My favorite part about this project is it's fully playable online. Getting to take one of my most cherished childhood games and blast people in the modern day is entertaining for hours. If you're craving some retro action done right, definitely check this out. Number 9. Sonic before the sequel. It's hard to deny that Sega's once great mascot has fallen on hard times. Bad releases have been coming out back to back, leaving fans feeling a little let down. Rather than give up on Sonic forever, one man decided to make the ultimate 2D adventure for the Blue Blur on his own. Before the sequel takes place between Sonic 2 and 3, and it's essentially the pinnacle of Genesis game design. It has cutscenes, a custom soundtrack, and even weather effects. The attention to detail in this title is extremely impressive. With 7 different worlds to learn and tons of replayability, this is easily one of the best platformers of the 16-bit era, just launched 20 years late. If you've ever loved Sonic, be sure to spin dash into this as soon as possible. Number 8. MechWarrior Living Legends. Few things in life get me more excited than games filled with giant robots. Something about getting to see 100-ton mechs slamming into each other is always epic. For Living Legend, modders crafted a completely original multiplayer experience set in the MechWarrior universe. Players are able to pick their own vehicle, deck it out in the gear of their choice, and launch into insane combat. Battlefields are huge, but with 15 mechs on each team, it's not long before you find yourself fighting to survive. Running over hills and charging up your cannons in a frantic do-or-die struggle is thrilling in a way that no other robo-filled title has ever been able to achieve. Every time I scored a kill and watched my enemy's reactor go nuclear, I truly felt like the king of MechWarrior. Number 7. AM2R. There's something to be said about taking an overlooked classic and updating it for a new generation. Metroid 2 seems to be the one game in its amazing franchise that people talk about the least, which is a real shame because it has a really smart design. Milton Gustai thought the same thing and set out to build his own version of Metroid 2 using the graphics engine of the Game Boy Advance title Metroid Zero Mission. The gameplay may be simple, but this is one of the fastest side-scrollers you'll ever play. By exploring environments and defeating bosses, you slowly power up Samus's suit in the hopes of getting off this planet alive. There are so many added areas and remix zones that even gamers addicted to the original Metroid 2 can often find themselves surprised by this remake. Number 6. The Dark Mod. In 2014, we got a strange reboot of the Thief series. This was supposed to be a return to form that would capture the shadowy difficulty and deep mystery of earlier titles, but unfortunately mostly missed its mark. Thankfully, for those wanting some true stealth perfection, fans developed a toolkit that lets you build, share, and play millions of cool missions. Staying on the move and working fast is a must in these winding hallways. Guards can easily slay you in moments if you're caught, so you need to make sure to stay one step ahead of them. In some situations, trial and error are your only resources when trying to master a particular quest. Occasionally, I just save outside a doorway and reload things repeatedly until I can pull off every objective flawlessly. There's a special joy to putting on the robes of a thief and becoming the knight in this brutally tough world. Number 5. Portal Stories Mel. Often regarded as the most brilliantly made puzzle game of all time, Portal broke barriers with its unique mix of hilarious storytelling and challenging puzzle solving. When people reach the end credits, their only complaint is that they couldn't wait for more. That's when a team of dedicated friends set out to continue the fun for themselves. Story's mel is nothing short of insane. Our plot begins before the events of the other game, letting us take on the role of 1936 Olympic champion Mel. She's invited to take part in a newly designed experiment that'll freeze her for a few months just to see what happens. There is one tiny problem though. The machine glitches and she's left asleep for decades. Waking up 50 years later, she must now find her way out of this death trap of a lab by beating all the evil tests placed in her path. Honestly, this game has puzzles almost better than even Valve could make. It's truly a testament to how passionate people really can do anything. Number 4. Final Fantasy VII: The Dark Cloud. If you're aiming to make your own piece of an existing world, normally you have two reasons for doing this. You want to make more of what people already liked, or because you think the actual developer's idea needs improvement. If you're new to the channel, you may not know that my favorite game ever is Final Fantasy VII, but the sequel, Dirge of Cerberus, was so bad it was confusing. The Dark Cloud aims to fix that by picking up with our heroes right after the conclusion of Final Fantasy VII. Happy they saved the planet, but exhausted from the trials they faced, they all go their separate ways. When terrible events start taking place across the globe, it's time for our heroes to come back together. While the graphics are set in a much more Super Nintendo style, the heart and soul of FF7 is here. The fantastic soundtrack returns, along with many classic enemies and new plot elements that make the whole thing a fascinating blend of old school charm and fresh style. In a weird way, I actually hope that Square Enix tries this fan game for themselves to see how much 7 meant to us and works even harder to make the Final Fantasy VII Remake awesome. Number 3. Skywind. In the last couple years, there's probably no title that's had a bigger cultural impact than Skyrim. Upon release, memes were being made daily, Let's Players were raking in millions of views playing it, and even people who'd never gamed before in their lives were trying out Elder Scrolls. It ushered in an age of bigger, better fantasy games that we're still seeing the effects of today. What many people seem to forget is that Skyrim is just the latest in a long-running franchise of epic adventures. Back on the original Xbox, we got my personal favorite entry, Morrowind. Thankfully, others share my joy in this game and have started rebuilding the giant continent of Morrowind in the graphics engine of Skyrim, making a hybrid of both titles. It has a long way to go before the project is complete, but already the bit I've tried for myself was amazing. Combat is sharp, storylines are wonderfully voice acted, and it seems like every corner of the world has some new secret to discover. Since Elder Scrolls 6 is years away, this really is our best chance to experience something new in this land for a while. Number 2. Pokémon Uranium. Nintendo created a lot of huge series during the 80s and 90s, but nothing can quite compare to Pokémon. It turns out that collecting and battling adorable little monsters is strangely addictive. Each game takes us to a unique region and leaves us to explore, find hundreds of creatures, capture them, and level them up. Part of the fun of these is the sense of the unknown, not being prepared for what's over the next hill, and it's this raw sense of journey that makes Uranium magical. This is more than just a mod of an existing game, but instead a fully custom-built project that features 100 new species of Pokemon, a large map, and some steep difficulty. Normally, this franchise is pretty easy. If you take the time to level up and gather the right elemental types, gyms can be beaten on the first try. That certainly isn't the case in Uranium. It's a fan-made masterpiece that can be brutally rough from the very beginning. Even if you don't like Pokemon, 30 minutes into Uranium and you're definitely gonna want to catch them all. Number 1. Mushroom Kingdom Fusion. Imagine if somebody peeled back all the layers that make a Mario game awesome and let you tinker with the gears of this famous franchise. Well, that's what someone did, adding in characters, changing how power-ups work, Heck, they even gave you the ability to use guns. Mushroom Kingdom Fusion combines the pure platforming fun of classic Mario with random elements of thousands of other games. For example, this is an infamously hard boss in the 16-bit title Mr. Nuts. Look how fast he shoots and moves, it's downright mind-blowing to see in action. This is really the reason that Fusion rose to be one of the most popular fan-made projects ever put online. The developers constantly listened to feedback and kept pushing the boundaries of what could possibly be put in the game. I'll never stop laughing at the sight of Luigi fighting off a giant monster in the bloody hallways of Quake, or seeing Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden swimming in water levels. It truly transcends being a simple mod and becomes something completely original, and you have to respect how freaking bizarre it gets. For its creative levels, surprisingly difficult bosses, and shocking amount of depth, I am giving Mushroom Kingdom Fusion my pick as the absolute craziest fan-made game. Did your favorite project not make the list? Got an idea for a future top 10? Leave it in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to go play my fan-translated copy of Final Fantasy II, which you can't confuse with Final Fantasy II in the Origins collection, or Final Fantasy II on the PSP, or Final Fantasy II in the game Dawn of Souls, or any of the American Final Fantasies which have screwed up numbering. You know what? Final Fantasy has some of the most messed up numbers ever. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked this video, maybe check out my last video. Please subscribe, and if you want, share this somewhere with your friends.